So, what in the world could a 30-second ad for soap possibly have in common with a sacred text that's over 1,400 years old? Well, it turns out a lot more than you'd think. Today, we're going to deconstruct how truly powerful messages are built, and we'll do it by looking at two sources that couldn't seem more different. All right, so in one corner, we've got a modern copywriting guide. It's packed with all the latest tips and tricks for writing a 30-second ad that actually sells stuff. And in the other corner, we have ancient commentaries on the very first words revealed in the Quran. I mean, a message that has shaped entire civilizations for centuries.
So, what's the connection? Well, the answer is kind of surprising. It reveals these timeless, universal rules about communication, about knowledge, and really about human psychology. Okay, let's dive in and unpack this. It doesn't matter if you're trying to stop someone from scrolling past your video or if you're delivering a message that's meant to last for ages. That opening moment, that's it. It's everything. It's your one and only shot to make a real connection. Okay, so according to our modern ad guide, you get about 75 words. 75! And you've got just 30 seconds to make your case. I mean, think about that. In that tiny little window, every single word has to fight for its life just to be there. All right, now let's completely switch gears and contrast that with a message that had, well, a very different goal. We're going to travel back 14 centuries to a cave outside of Mecca. And here, the opening line wasn't some clever marketing question. It was an impossible command, delivered to a man who could only reply with these words. The command was Iqra, which means read. Now, for a man who was known to be unlettered, this was, talk about a powerful hook. It's what we'd call a pattern interrupt. It just completely shatters your expectations and forces you to pay attention. It creates this immediate problem that your brain just has to see resolved. So the ad guide says your first 5 seconds have to earn the viewer's attention. And here's what's so fascinating to me. You have these two completely different worlds, separated by centuries, by culture, by purpose, and yet both of them see this initial hook as absolutely essential. It's the foundation for everything that comes next. Okay, so modern advertising, it pretty much always follows this simple three-part structure, right? First, you've got the hook to grab their attention. Then, you deliver the main message, the core idea. And finally, you tell them exactly what to do next, the call to action. And that last step, the call to action or CTA, it's absolutely crucial. That's the whole point, right? It's the part that turns someone's interest into something you can actually measure. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. If we take that same three-part structure and look at the first few verses of the Quran, a surprisingly clear parallel just pops right out. So the message part of this revelation, it starts by grounding us, humanity, in our most humble origins, being created from an alaq, which literally means a clinging substance. This sets the core context of who we are. It's this powerful reminder of where we all come from, our shared fragile beginning. So, you see the structure. First, you have the command, read, that's the hook. Second, you get the context, who we are, created from this humble substance. And third, you get the enabler, the pen, the very tool of knowledge that allows humanity to rise above that simple biological state.
But here's the thing, you can craft the most perfect message in the world, but that's only half the battle. Its success, its failure, it all comes down to the person on the other end. How are they receiving it? And the Quran actually points to the number one reason a message gets rejected, ego. It's that feeling of being totally self-sufficient, that little voice that says, I got this, I don't need any guidance. And that right there, that's the ultimate wall in communication. Now, believe it or not, this ancient psychological insight has a direct parallel in the modern world. This idea of crossing the limits because you feel self-sufficient, it's the exact same mindset as a writer who just assumes their message is important, who doesn't feel the need to earn the audience's attention first. And this connection is just brilliant. Think about that ad guide's list of the most common mistakes that kill a script. Every single one of them, they're all just acts of ego. It's writing that assumes the audience's attention is a given, that it's owed to you, not something you have to earn.
So when you boil it all down, what's the common thread? It's not about being clever with your words. It's not about some secret technical trick. It's about humility. See, these aren't separate rules for religion and for business. They're universal principles of how to make an impact. and they all circle back to that one core idea. Let's bring it all home by looking at the ad writer's final checklist. A single core message? Yeah, that's about clarity, but it's also about having the humility not to overwhelm your audience. Providing specific proof? That shows you respect their intelligence. And a clear call to action? That shows you respect their time. See how it all connects? You know, the first verses of the Quran honor the pen as the tool for learning what we didn't know. And the ad guide, it honors concise language as the tool for effective persuasion. It's the same idea, from the ancient pen to the modern pixel. These are both tools meant to build bridges, to create connection, not to build walls of ego. So here's the big takeaway. It doesn't matter if you have 75 words to sell a product or a lifetime to share an idea. The anatomy of a message that truly connects, that really lands, is always built on a foundation of humility, clarity, and a deep, profound respect for the person on the other end. So the real question is, what will you build with your next words?